that's a very serious statement that you're making, that going forward from here on, US and China will certainly not see eye to eye on many issues, on many fronts. That the relationship has taken, there's a new low in the ties between the two countries, and the ties have already suffered in the recent past with the souring of relationship between China and the United States of America. But let me go back to the consequences. You've mentioned consequences to Nancy Pelosi, the delegation, their family members, so on and so forth. Let's just focus on the military and economic aspect, beginning with military. We are looking at exercises, announcements, which could lead to blockage of the port and shipping lanes in Taiwan. But is it all bluff and bluster? A lot of people are saying that China is talking a lot, but will not be walking the talk when it comes to action. Many said that even for Russia, when the Russia-Ukraine war began. But what is the military consequence of this visit?
Thank you very much. I think you are raising a very important question. Now, in 1950, before General MacArthur and his US troops marched across the Parallel 38, China officially gave warning to the United States not allow its troops to cross beyond Parallel 38. Otherwise, China will have no other option but to take action. And China relayed the message to the United States through the Indian ambassador to China. Can you believe it? And the United States and General MacArthur completely ignored. They concluded that China was in no position to putting a fight against the United States in North Korea. Then what happened? Lo and behold, the Chinese People's Volunteers pushed the American troops by several hundred kilometers way below Parallel 38. And General MacArthur, as a result, lost his job as one of the highest regarded US generals, and the US military has never suffered another defeat as miserable as this one. This was in 1950 to 1953. If you ask any US military officer, he will tell you for sure that the defeat in Korea has ever been carved into their psyche and the bones. Ever since then, the United States military always wanted to avoid a direct conflict with Chinese military. Now, China is fully committed to fight a war against the United States if it wants to stand in the way to prevent the Chinese national reunity. This is the strong message China is giving to the United States, and China will use whatever means available, including military means, to achieve the national reunification. So wait and see the consequences being unfolding as we speak.
Are we looking at a serious military action apart from the military operations and exercises in order to move forward for what China considers reunification? Is that going to happen? Is this the beginning of that?
Allow me to make several points. One is that the Chinese reunification is a megatrend in our times. And I hope Nancy Pelosi, 82 years old as of today, will live to see that being achieved before she passes away. Secondly, most of us alive, including all your audience, I hope, will live to see the achievement and realization of the Chinese national reunification. And Taiwan will be restored to her rightful position as one of the provinces of China. And the people in Taiwan, altogether 23 million of them, will again be rejoined with their brothers and sisters on China's mainland. This is the mega trend of our time. It will happen. It will happen either very soon or in a number of years. I hope it will happen through peaceful means. And if people in Taiwan or some forces in Taiwan want to stand in the way against this peaceful reunification, then non-peaceful means will have to be adopted to achieve this goal.
One more question. Taiwan considers all these statements that come from Beijing as bullying tactics, that China is trying to bully Taiwan to succumb to their wishes. And Taiwan is not going to do that anytime soon. It seems like Taiwan also has a lot of support, not just in terms of the statements, the visits, engagements, but also in terms of weapons, the technology, the systems that Taiwan has. So in many ways than one, Taiwan has the wherewithal, may not have the wherewithal to take on China alone, but if it has the wherewithal and the support of the other countries, allied nations, then how does China propose to take Taiwan on militarily?
Listen, don't underestimate the military might of China as a country, the whole Chinese nation as a people, and don't underestimate the determination and the capabilities of the Chinese Liberation Army. It is the Chinese Liberation Army in the form of the Chinese People's Volunteers who defeated the American troops in Korea, pushed them in several campaigns by more than 300 kilometers from Yalu River all the way down to parallel 38. No other country has ever done that. The former Soviet Union and Russia today, they have never fought a direct battle against the US troops. China did, the Chinese People's Liberation Army did. They succeeded in defeating the American troops. And I hope American soldiers and officers will never forget it, because it's carved in their stone. The Chinese military and the American military should never fight a war against each other, because otherwise it will be Armageddon. So I don't believe when China and Taiwan are reunited into one single family, the United States will send troops to prevent that from happening, or British, Australian, Japanese, etc. These countries will send their troops to prevent that from happening. This is the destiny for the Chinese nation. This is the realization of the national rejuvenation and the national reunification for all Chinese people, including people in Taiwan. No country has any legitimacy in getting involved, and no country can achieve the goal of keeping Taiwan and China as two separated countries.